Hello and happy Tuesday, which is of course my book reviews day, but today is also going to be a book comparison day, because today I want to talk to you about Swan Song by Robert McCammon, or Robert R McCammon, depending on, which edition you're reading. But I also have three beautiful editions to showcase here, one being the numbered edition from Subterranean Press, one being the numbered edition from Dark Harvest, and one being the lettered edition from Dark Harvest. All incredibly spectacular. Unfortunately, all are also sold out, so you'd have to go to a secondary market to find a beauty like these. I would like to also show you the Suntup edition, but I don't have that yet. I do have the numbered edition of that on order, but that's not here right now for this video, so that'll be a separate video when that book is received. So let's talk about Swan Song. Swan Song is Robert McCammon's post-apocalyptic novel. The first one I'm going to show you here, by the way, this is the numbered edition of Dark Harvest, featuring good old Charles Lang's incredible full dust jacket artwork, and it's got plenty of beautiful artwork within. I will talk briefly about the editions as I'm going through. This was limited to 650 copies. This is 571, signed by Robert McCammon and Charles Lang. Swan Song is his post-apocalyptic novel. For some reason, people like to compare it to The Stand by Stephen King, which is not a fair comparison at all. They are very different novels. The Stand is a post-apocalyptic novel dealing with a horrible, horrible virus that just runs rampant and eliminates most of the population, whereas Swan Song is a nuclear apocalypse. This is written right near the end of the Cold War. It's what happens when DC and the Soviet Union both press the buttons at the same time, leading to all hell breaking loose. It follows a vast cast of characters. This is the man with many mouths, the man with the scarlet eye, the man with many faces, Friend. He goes by many names. He is the embodiment of the devil himself. So your main characters are Swan, Suwanda, the swan of the title, a young girl who her and her mother get trapped in a gas station with the start of the nuclear war, who get trapped alongside Josh Hutchins, a wrestler who goes under the moniker of Black Frankenstein, who is tasked with protecting Swan. Swan is a very special girl. She has very unique abilities that I won't say too much more about, because I don't want to spoil the joy for yourself. On the East Coast of things, you have Sister. Well, this is Josh and young Swan right here in Charles Lang's illustration, talking to the body as it rises up and gives him the task of protect the girl. On the East Coast of things, in New York City, you have Sister Creep, who eventually drops the creep, just becomes Sister. She is a New York bag lady, but she finds a higher purpose when walking through the remnants of New York City. She finds a marvelous ring of glass and pearls, which has its own unique special abilities. This manages to make wonders and miracles happen when she's holding it, and to anyone who holds it. It shows them a world of what can be. I will say, I couldn't help but laugh that, all these comparisons to The Stand by Stephen King, and what they don't compare that to is Lord of the Rings, where she has the one ring. She finds the one ring, and Friend, or the man with many faces, who is sometimes called the man with the scarlet eye. Scarlet eye, you have Sauron. Now, that's really where those comparisons end. This book, Sauron, the devil incarnate, is mobile. He is a man of many faces, as one of his names suggests. And he wants to just cause chaos, cause carnage. He wants to destroy the One Ring, which is very much different than Lord of the Rings, who wants the One Ring for his own power. This one wants to destroy the One Ring. Anyways, our cast of characters isn't even done. We also have Colonel Macklin, who's in charge of a fallout shelter that families can buy into And one such family has a young son, a young teenage boy, Roland. Roland has, let's say, a fascination with this game of wanting to protect the king. And he finds a higher purpose and discovers that he is really good at killing. So the current Colonel Macklin decides to make Roland a soldier in his army for a better future, or his future. And, well, without revealing too much about the novel itself, it is a spectacular read. It is McCammon. If you haven't read any Robert McCammon, you should. Robert McCammon is a master at his craft. Real quick, nice little tangent. I'm going to move on to the lettered edition by Dark Harvest. There is also a trade edition by Dark Harvest, which, believe it or not, I don't have. But the letter edition has this beautiful, beautiful wooden slipcase, much like all the other lettered editions that Dark Harvest does. They don't have a dust jacket, but they do have stamping on the boards itself, a different leatherette binding. I know the trade edition has a black leatherette binding. I don't know if it's still stamped in gold or silver on the spine, but I knew it has black leather binding. Of course, not signed by McCammon. This letter edition is signed by McCammon, has nicer end papers, and he was going by Robert R McCammon at the time, and I have copy RR of 52, which is just fantastic. The contents of the book are the same beyond that. We also have this front color and frontispiece, same as the numbered edition, showing Swan providing an apple to the man with many faces, and him turning away in disgust. I'm not going to show too much about the interior of this, because the interior is the same. So I'm just going to put it back in its wooden slipcase in the meantime. And we'll move on to the Subterranean Press edition. The Sub Press edition is larger than the Dark Harvest edition. Dark Harvest has the smaller font type in there, bringing it into just about 600 pages, whereas the Subterranean Press edition has the larger trim size. Slipcase has the stamping on the spine there. This has artwork by David Ho, and with the larger trim size makes it to about 800 pages, which I'm going to now flip through this one while talking about the novel again, showing off some of David Ho's illustrations. This Subterranean Press edition was numbered and lettered. I don't have a lettered edition. I believe the lettered edition was bound in leather. Numbered edition here, 500 copies. This is 155? I don't know if that's a 5. You can be the judge for yourself. Anyways, as I was saying, Robert McCammon is a master of his craft. One of his specialties is that he can make you fall in love with any character. Even the characters that you are supposed to hate, you love to hate. These characters are incredibly fleshed out. These characters have dimensions to them. They're not just some two-dimensional or flat character. You're going to fall in love with these characters, or you're going to love to hate these characters. Quick point to say here with David Ho's artwork. I as much as I love Charles Lang's artwork, and I love Ed's artwork of the upcoming Suntup edition, I do like the gray atmosphere that David Ho presents in his artwork. David Ho uses a lot of grays in his art, which really, really brings into perspective the nuclear winter that the world is going through within Swan Song. So anyways, as I keep tangenting from myself, McCammon is a master at making you fall in love with characters or love to hate characters. Here is good old Alvin, who has his own storyline. He pops up several times throughout the novel. He is a despicable character, featuring a whole bunch of characters that he is leading who have all escaped from the an insane asylum. And, well, let's just say that the book takes place over the course of 2 books. Book 1 deals with very much putting the pieces in place. It introduces the character, introduces you to the world. Here is a fold-out illustration that David Ho has provided for the Subterranean Press edition. And then several years pass, and you get to book 2, showing where these characters have progressed, where these characters are now going, and where you get all the pieces in place within book 1. Book 2, the second half, is where all of those plot lines, all of those storylines converge into, well, let's face it. I mean, as far as stand comparisons go, I will say it does build up to a very, very large last stand, if you will, between the forces of good and the forces of evil. So I guess in that regard, it is similar to the stand. Very different in almost every other regard, though. So any comparisons to Stephen King's The Stand, it's just not fair. But seriously, Swan Song, even though it is a beast of a novel, is a novel that you should definitely check out. I mean, you should check out McCammon in general. He is one of my favorite authors, and if you have read any McCammon novels, it's easy to see why. The man is a master of his craft, and this novel in particular is no exception. I'm ashamed that I had never read this prior to this year, prior to the Suntup edition being announced. But I knew going in that I had loved everything else I'd read by McCammon, so, it was easy enough to decide that I needed to own an edition of this novel. Of course, I do have several editions of this novel. Here are the two editions side by side for just comparison of how much thicker the Subterranean Press edition is compared to the Dark Harvest edition. The Suntup edition should be even wider, at least the numbered edition, because it's being broken up into 2 volumes, one for book 1, one for book 2. I do have a numbered edition on order from them. I'm very excited to receive that once it does eventually ship, but it is currently in production. They also have a single volume classic edition, which is signed by McCammon, which should be very much in line with the Subterranean Press numbered edition, although that one will not be numbered. That one, all of these editions, including all the Suntup editions, are unfortunately sold out, so you will have to go to the secondary market if you want to pick up a copy for yourself. But seriously, though, check out Swan Song. If you don't want to swing for any of these fancy special editions, that's A-okay. There are plenty of trade editions out there. You can actually pick up a trade edition wherever books are sold. I mean, they should carry this in any old Barnes & Noble, any old bookstore, as long as they have a wide range of horror, of science fiction, of fiction in general. This is one of the McCammon novels that you should be able to find quite easily in stores. But you are in for an incredible roller coaster of a ride here that really allows McCammon to flex and just show his strength as a character writer, as a conflict writer, as a grand master of chess. Because like I said, that first part really puts the characters and puts the pieces in play, and all of them converge within the second half for just an absolutely endearing novel. That it's easy to see why this won the Stoker Award for Best Novel back in 1988. It shared it with Stephen King's Misery, which is very fitting because Misery was the first novel that Suntup published. So look at that. Now you have both winners of that 1988 Stoker that can grace your shelf in a Suntup edition. But anyways, check out Robert McCammon. Check out Swan Song. If you want something that's not post-apocalyptic, he has something for every subgenre you can think of. If you want one of the best coming-of-age novels I've ever read, check out Boy's Life. If you want a colonial James Bond / problem solver, check out the Matthew Corbett series. If you want domestic terrorism run amok against a rock and roll band just trying to make their last tour, check out The Five. There is a little bit of something for everybody with Robert McCammon's bibliography, and something worth checking out. By all means, please subscribe to the channel here. I will do an unboxing of the numbered edition for Swan Song from Suntup once that is received. Don't know how long that'll be. It'll probably be several months from now. But I have plenty of other unboxing videos you can check out in the meantime, as well as plenty of other book reviews, including some McCammon book reviews. So there's plenty to keep you entertained. I also have a few Levidian McCammon titles that I'll be doing unboxings for very soon, as it's sad to say that the Matthew Corbett series is coming to an end. Speaking of which, with Matthew Corbett's series coming to an end, the last title, Leviathan, is publishing in December. The Alabama Booksmith down in Alabama, which is where McCammon is from, is doing a signing for that. They normally only cover hardcover editions. which by all means, you could buy hardcover editions, not necessarily fine small press ones like these or fine press like Suntup, but they carry like trade hardcovers, and those trade hardcovers will be signed. But for this title, you can actually pre-order paperbacks that'll be signed by McCammon. I should have checked before recording this video. I imagine that there's at least a paperback of Swan Song available. So if you want a signed copy of Swan Song for yourself, go to the link below. You can pre-order a copy. Well, you should be able to pre-order a copy directly through Alabama Booksmith. I don't know how long the pre-order is going to be open for. The signing is like the first or second week of December. So the pre-order, December 2024, of course, because I should specify the year, because the year is coming to an end, and I don't want anybody being misled if they're watching this in 2025 or beyond. But you can pre-order signed copies of, if not all of his books, many of his books in paperback form or in hardcover form, and get them delivered to your door through Alabama Booksmith. It is an incredible deal that they are offering. And this is published book price. So, you go to your Barnes & Noble, you can find a copy for 18 or 20 bucks, or you can buy a copy for 18 or 20 bucks signed by McCammon himself. Anyways, we're over 16 minutes now, and now I'm just rambling. So thank you guys very much for watching. Check out Robert McCammon. He is one of my favorite authors, and I think if you give him a chance, he'll be one of your favorites as well. Check out Swan Song, his masterpiece of a post-apocalyptic nuclear winter novel. And thank you guys very much for watching, and we'll see you around next time.